Packers could trade $17 million former first-round pick to Ravens. Here's why. That's a big deal. The Green Bay Packers are entering a crucial stretch. With training camp right around the corner, players are savoring their final days off before the full squad returns to finalize preparations for what could be a defining season. After showing real flashes of potential, the team is now looking to take a leap forward, especially on offense where excitement is high, but so is uncertainty. There's a buzz around quarterback Jordan Love, who hopes to build off a promising stretch, though questions remain. Can he avoid reverting to the erratic play that raised concerns last year? Love already tends to gamble more than most quarterbacks. If the offensive line doesn't come together and Golden fails to make an impact in the air attack, we might see the worst version of Love resurface, warned Alex Ballentine of Bleacher Report. But while the offense holds potential, the real question marks surround the defense, particularly in depth and experience. That's where things get interesting. Rumors are swirling that Green Bay might be ready to move on from a former first-rounder who simply hasn't hit his stride. The player in question? Lucas Van Ness, a high-upside edge rusher with 65 tackles. Under his belt, but limited game-changing moments. Over in Baltimore, the Ravens are searching for defensive answers after parting ways with key veterans like Patrick Queen and Jadeveon Clowney. Although Odafe has shown flashes, it hasn't been enough to offset the struggles from Broderick Washington and Travis Jones. With veteran Michael Pierce retired and John Jenkins stepping in as a stopgap, a player like Van Ness could be the stabilizer this defense needs. Van Ness could offer much-needed consistency to Baltimore's front seven, noted Anthony Palacios of Last Word on Sports. He'd have the chance to develop within a championship-caliber roster. Back in Green Bay, the writing may already be on the wall. Despite expectations, Van Ness never truly broke into the rotation. When Preston Smith left, it opened a door, but not for Van Ness, explained Joe Meerdink. Instead, Brenton Cox and Aaron Mosby stepped up and made the most of their reps, especially in pass-rushing scenarios. While both have flaws, they delivered where Van Ness didn't. A trade to the Ravens could benefit everyone involved. The Packers would gain valuable assets to address roster gaps, and Van Ness would get a fresh start on a franchise with legitimate Super Bowl hopes. If you're loving this kind of in-depth NFL analysis and bold trade breakdowns, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. Whether you're a die-hard Packers fan or just love following the biggest moves across the league, we've got you covered. Let us know in the comments. Would you trade Lucas Van Ness for the right price? Or should the Packers give him more time to develop? Does not mention a specific or confirmed trade between the Packers and Ravens. It merely suggests the possibility that the Packers might be willing to trade Lucas Van Ness, a former first-round pick with a $17 million contract, to the Ravens. The buy. Central idea is that the Packers could trade Van Ness because he has yet to establish himself as a starter and has lost ground to other players like Brenton Cox and Aaron Mosby. The Ravens could be a logical destination, as they need to bolster their defensive line after losses like Patrick Queen and Michael Pierce. The author speculates that such a trade would be beneficial to both sides, but no players or draft picks are mentioned in exchange. In other words, it is not an actual trade, but rather a projection or trade pitch, a suggested trade based on the needs and situations of both teams.